one of the things that I'm noticing right now is that these leaves are coming seemingly straight onto the dock. You see that? It's as if the river were crossing under and going that way, but it's not. It should either go upriver that way or it should go out towards the bay that way. But there are times during the day that I've noticed where the river seemingly flows directly under the dock. That's happening right now. You can see a line in the water right there. It's some indication, the wind messes with that a little bit, but it's some indication as to the direction of the current. And it's a unique spot because we have a place across there, and I will show it to you on the map over here. This is a map that I usually show to my customers, made specifically by me for them. But you can see here, this direction goes upriver, and this direction goes out towards the bay, and so does this. All of this kind of goes out that way towards Tampa Bay. When the tide is changing, sometimes the tide will go in and the currents are converging and everything goes that way, right towards the dock. It's a neat thing that every once in a while I will come out and I will try to read the river without looking at my phone and the tide predictions. I will just come out here. That is a dead giveaway. The way that the tide is moving, I know I can check my my tide tables right now and see that we are in between. Judging by the amount of water in the river, I'd say that we're at a high tide right now, and that this water is about to start rushing back out. It's a fun thing to do. Like in a recent video I talked about the sun and how I can predict how many minutes until I won't do that right now, until sundown. But I can sometimes predict changing of the tides, and it really doesn't take a lot of effort once you know what to look for. It's a cool thing that I've discovered sitting here at the dock, and it's, I don't know, it kind of makes me feel one with nature, and I don't know, maybe it's just a silly thing. Maybe it's actually pretty neat. Maybe you guys have experienced similar things where once you have to spend a lot of time on the water and eventually become intimate in such a way that you recognize things. I wonder in the comment section if you could describe something about where you are. I mean, it could be on a river, it could be on an ocean, it could be somebody who has spent time working on like oil rigs or something, you know, and you're out in the middle of nowhere, and you get to be intimate with your surroundings, and you get to see things that indicate a change in tide or some other phenomenon. That kind of thing fascinates me. A small handful of you probably have similar intimate knowledge of the water, but I don't know, the only way to do that is to get out there and spend time on the water. It's funny how, you know, some people will say that I'm lucky that I get to sit here and spend a lot of time looking at the water, but it's my current situation, being here, not being in a house, landlocked somewhere, living on a boat, stuff like that, has been the result of a passion, something that I really, really wanted in life, and I just went out and did it. And if there's something that you really, really love in life, I know you can do it too. There's something else too. There was, you know, as I sat out here and I looked at the tide changing, I was reminded of the current situation and what everybody's going through, and how it has affected me not being open. It's been, I don't know, a bunch of days now where the doors over there have been closed, and I didn't want to get lulled into opening for people who told me, you know, like if they called me and said, well, can I just come by and visit and this and that? And next thing you know, I'm allowing people in, and I'm not really doing the right thing as far as this quarantine and stay at home is concerned. So I didn't want the temptation, so I shut the phone off. And I don't like the phone. I really don't. As much as I rely on technology, I'm talking to a camera right now, for goodness sakes. I just don't. I like the lack of distraction, so I can look out at this water and listen to my inner muse and think about fun stuff that I can share with you guys. And within the last couple of days, I've realized that I could get used to this. This is a dangerous thing. Not being at the beck and call of any person that may just walk in through that door or call me up on the phone. Having the business shut down has been a reminder of how the tide changes and how things can one day be some way that you think is really, really awesome, and then the next day it's different. And that comes in many, many ways. It can come in a pandemic virus. It can come in the death of somebody in your family. It could come in a loss of a job, or there's many things that we initially interpret as being the end, and the end being something that's bad, when it in fact opens up a door to something else. So I'm not ending the business. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just trying to say that it reminds me of things in the past. The cycle of life. Things start, they end. This too will end. This too will pass, right? This virus. What happens afterwards? Are you ready? Am I ready? Am I ready to turn the phones back on, to start accepting customers and go back to the way we were? I don't think it'll ever be exactly the way it was, but I don't think it's a bad thing. That inevitable change, once you get used to it. I've talked about it in the past. I mean, I had a house. I put a lot of time and effort into it, and as fate had it, I had to walk away. Not sell it, not short sell it or anything, just walk away. And it was really, really tough. And yet on the other side of that change was something awesome, was this. So that gives me a lot of faith in the fact that when the tide changes, things will be cool. When the virus is over and gone and forgotten about, it'll be cool too. There'll be some light at the end of whatever tunnel we go through, whatever storm we have to endure. Anyways, I walked outside and I saw the tide, and that's what it reminded me of. It reminded me of change, and how wonderful it could be on the other side. So, this is Marty, living his life, being hopeful. I hope you guys are enjoying your life and are hopeful as well.